Welcome, everybody. You're joining me, Jeffrey St. George, and her, Sarah St. George, in the home studio. Today, we're working on Chapter 4, which is entitled Opposition and Builds from the book Acting in Shakespeare by Robert Cohen. This is another hell of a chapter. Boy, Robert doesn't Robert doesn't make anything simple. That son of a bitch. This chapter is about a lot of things. We're probably just going to start at the beginning with the example from Hamlet, Francisco and Bernardo on the night watch. It is midnight. There's been a ghost scene within the last couple of days. And the scene opens with Bernardo saying, "Who's there?" Right? So, one of the issues I observe with scenes like this in Shakespeare is that frequently they're shallow, right? They're played at a very surface level. And what Robert is telling us here is that the meaning and the context of the scene is not strictly derived from the text, it's derived from the circumstance. So if you're just playing the text of "Who's there? Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself," what you're going to see in front of you is a very boring scene, frankly. You have to include the oppositional forces within the scene, the additional context. So we mentioned it's extremely cold out there, so we should be able to see that within the action of the line. Now, Robert then goes on to say that it's cold outside, but we're not going to play that we're cold. We're going to play the inverse. We're going to play that we're warming ourselves up to warm. So if it was hot, rather than playing the heat, oh my god, we would be playing the cool myself down. Now, this is a note that you hear all the time, and it's a note that actors frequently struggle against, because usually it's just said in the context of "don't play the cold, play fighting against the cold." What they mean when they say fighting against the cold is play warming yourself, etc., etc., etc. So here we have our first instance of opposition. The opposition against the elements, against nature. This opposition brings life into the scene. Use it. So Francisco's in the dark, groping out, can't see a damn thing. There's a ghost walking around, and he says, "Who's there?" To which Francisco responds, "Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself." Here we have our next opposition, right? So, Shakespeare and dramatic action in general is typically performed in direct opposition, either against another character and their desires, or against nature, or against the status quo. This is where conflict comes from. This is where interesting action comes from. Sarah hears something from outside the door. I think my husband's out there. And so here we have the line, refocusing, "Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself." So here we have what's called a disharmony. So Francisco is not jiving with Bernardo, and so we can say they are in disharmony with one another. Now we have the opportunity to introduce our first build. We go into a whole chapter on builds later, but he wants to introduce it early. "Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself." What's the build there? What are the ideas? Look for the ideas. He says, "Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself." What is he doing? He's rejecting the previous statement. He's making 1 demand, 2 demand, 3 demand. He's making 4 total statements. And these 4 statements open in the course of a line. And because you're in opposition, you're in conflict, Robert indicates that you should build through that line. So it would look a whole lot like, "Nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself." And you find the motivation for that, not just in the text, but in the circumstance. Like, say, "Nay, answer me, stand." Why does he say stand? It's probably because Bernardo is still approaching. You say, "Stand, stop, answer me. Unfold yourself." right? Reveal yourself to me. And so the scene continues. Long live the king, Bernardo. You came most carefully upon your hour. So the conflict resolves, right? The opposition comes to a climax, which is Bernardo answering long live the king, the passcode, and then, of course, Francisco recognizing him for who he is. And so the action continues forward. Now, there's a couple of summaries for this lesson. One, stage action, like life actions, have multiple purposes, some of which are obvious in the specific text and others more embedded in general human situations. So this is talking about the circumstances surrounding. It's explicitly mentioned in the text, but nobody's on stage during this scene continuing to talk about how cold it is. You, as the actor, have to take it upon yourself to insert that subtext into the action because it brings interest to the action happening on stage. 2, obstacles to your goals must be played against rather than demonstrated, right? So this is saying that rather than playing the cold, play warming yourself up. Play the inverse. 3, speeches and stage actions engage you in opposition, often to other characters and often to the status quo. To act, therefore, usually means to oppose something, and it is from this opposition that the conflict underlying all drama derives. Tasty bit of advice, that. Finally, 4, as a general rule, conflict escalates, although not necessarily a straight line, until someone wins or until there is some sort of resolution. In life, conflict often is resolved in compromise. But in drama, the resolution is often a climax. That's the difference, right? In life, we're very reasonable. In drama, we're less reasonable because it's entertaining to watch. Okay, so that chapter was just sped through to the max because it was another very heady chapter to engage in. It's actually very good. So if I haven't done so already, I'm going to encourage you. Get the book, Acting in Shakespeare by Robert Cohen. The chapter is definitely more robustious than I gave it time to do today. Your takeaways. Drama is opposition. Opposition ends in climaxes in drama. Play against the condition. Okay, I love you all. I'll see you later. Bye.